My Zayder, Rebbe Zalman Vilenkin, who was the Rebbe's Malamed, was paralyzed for many years on half of his body. But on Friday, this was Tezayin Tovshin Chov Gimel, he got sick, and the doctor came, Dr. Zelikson came, and he said that he had another stroke. And that Friday night, when the Rebbe came out of his room to go down to Kabbalah Shabbos, he was standing by the Rebbe's door, and he spoke to the Rebbe for a long time about this. Exactly what they spoke about, we don't know. Actually, the Seder used to be that when someone saw the Rebbe open the door to come down to daven or to farbrengen, would run down ahead and scream shh, and everyone would become quiet, and within moments the Rebbe would come in. This time someone came down screaming shh, everyone became quiet, waiting for the Rebbe to come in, waiting for quite a while, and the Rebbe didn't come. And the reason was because the Rebbe was standing by his room talking to Dr. Zelikson about the Matzah of my Zayde. Matzah Shabbos, after Ma'ariv, the Rebbe came up to his room and was in his room for a while, and then went out of his room to go home. My brother Shalom Ber happened to be standing in the hallway of 770, and as the Rebbe went out of his room and closed the door and was walking, saw him. So the Rebbe stopped, motioned to him to come over and follow him. And the Rebbe turned around, went back into his room, and told my brother to follow him into his room. My brother went into his room, standing there, and the Rebbe went over to the drawer of his desk, opened the drawer, and took out a piece of matzah. And he gave it to my brother, and he said that Zolzen at the Zayda Zel Essen, you should see that your grandfather should eat a little bit of it. And he said, Thomas ist schwer, soll es essen, so kannst es einwecken in Wasser und es reinlegen in sein Mund. If it's hard for him to eat it, then you should soak it in water, it'll become soft, and then you could put it into his mouth. And the Rebbe says, Zaina gute Woche. And I think he said the word Zaina gute Woche twice. My brother ran home, took the matzah, tried to put it into his mouth. He was already laying in bed with his eyes closed, in a semi-coma probably, and he couldn't put the matzah into his mouth. So he soaked the matzah, and he put it in, and probably a few crumbs did go into his mouth. The next morning, which was Lag Ba'omer, the matzah became worse, and the doctor said he has to go to the hospital. So he asked the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said yes, he should go. And then the Rebbe added that they should get a nurse, should be with him constantly, 24 hours a day, and the Rebbe's a private nurse, and the Rebbe said that he will pay for it. And they got a nurse, and he was in the hospital then till Thursday night. Thursday night, he passed away. The Levaya was Friday afternoon. And the Rebbe went to the Levaya, not only walked on Eastern Parkway, but the Rebbe went into the car, and they drove the Rebbe all the way to the cemetery. The Rebbe did not go into the cemetery. The Rebbe stood outside by the gate, and he was watching what was going on by the Levaya. After the Levaya, when he drove home, Reb Shmuel was in the car, Rabbi Chadaka was in the car. The Rebbe said to Reb Shmuel that the reason he didn't go in, because if he would go in, he would have to go into the Shver, to the Friedrich Rebbe, to the Oil. For that I have to prepare, and I didn't prepare. Shabbos, by the Farbrengen, the Rebbe mentioned that it says in Kisvei Arizal that anybody who is buried Erev Shabbos after Chatzos is potter from Chibut HaKever. And obviously this was referring to Marzede, who was buried Friday afternoon after Chatzos. And he said that he's potter from Chibut HaKever. It says in Tanya that there is such a thing as Chibut HaKever. And if you're buried Erev Shabbos after Chatzos, it says in Kisvei Arizal, then you're potter from Chibut HaKever.